This is a special edition of Late Night Health. I'm Mark Alyn. We're going to take a look at school buses and are they safe or not? Our guest is Tucker Perkins. He's an energy expert and the CEO of PERC, the Propane Education and Research Council. Tucker, welcome to Late Night Health.
Mark, thank you so much for having me.
Listen, school buses have been around for, generations and generations. I remember at least field trips in the Southern California area on school buses. Are old-fashioned school buses safe for the kids?
Well, I think we're learning every day, first off, that school buses haven't kept pace with the same technologies, that children ride to school today very much, as you say, they rode to school 30 years ago in these aging, dirty diesel school buses. And we've really learned a lot about what diesel school buses are. They're expensive. They're harmful to the child. They're harmful to the community. And in this world where we talk a lot about climate, they're bad for the climate. And 10 years ago, we said there has to be a better way. There is a better way, that every child deserves to ride to school in a safer, cleaner, healthier way. And that way is in a propane-powered school bus. And that's what we're really here to talk about as we all go back to school.
And propane, everybody knows propane. If you have a gas grill, you're using propane. Am I correct?
Right. Everybody knows propane in their own way. 50 million people rely on a gas grill. So many people use it on the home and the farm. But, most people don't realize about how propane is such an important fuel for transportation. And as we begin to talk about climate, it has a vital role to fill in replacing diesel. You think about it. You've been behind a school bus when a school bus pulled away from a bus stop. You may have been behind a truck when it pulls away from a stop sign. And the first thing most of us notice is this cloud of black smoke. We now know that cloud of black smoke contains two things that are really harmful to us and the planet. The first is nitrogen oxide. And to children, it's particularly damaging for asthma, for bronchitis, a host of respiratory illnesses. We also know that it contains particulate matter. Particulate matter is now listed as a known carcinogen. When you move to a propane-powered school bus or even a propane vehicle, that cloud of black smoke is gone. And that's why it's better for the child and better for the community.
Are there that many propane-powered vehicles available?
Well, hopefully more than you think. This morning, I think 1.3 million children rode to school in 22,000 school buses across the country. So as proud as we can be of that fact, the truth is that's only 5% of the school buses operating today. So we've come a long ways. We have a long ways to go. I would say that fleet managers that have begun the adoption, they seem committed to not stop until 100% of their fleet is converted. A crazy statistic for you that I find fascinating is that if we could replace all of the diesel buses with propane buses, we'd save enough money just in operating cost alone to hire 23,000 teachers into the classroom. So you begin to see this link between healthier children, cleaner communities, a better climate, and saving money to even have a better educational experience. So it's I like to call it a real revolution in clean student transportation.
And what also is of interest to me is that the low emissions of a propane-powered bus can improve academic performance?
Yeah, Georgia State kind of highlighted that for us when they studied children riding to school in a low-emission bus, and they realized they tested higher in math and science. Now, as you look at that study a bit deeper, children were in school more days. They're not homesick with asthma. They're not homesick with bronchitis. They're in school learning. I couple that with my own experience from talking with principals and teachers of school systems that migrated from diesel to propane. And the first thing they'll tell you is these buses are quieter. The kids come to school calmer. They get to homeroom a little bit more orderly. They get into learning mode a little faster. And I think those two things, the ride itself is healthier, the ride itself is quieter, really come together to promote a very positive learning experience for the student who's given the ability to arrive to school in a clean, healthy, safe bus.
It just occurred to me, are propane buses less expensive than diesel buses that are being used now?
They cost about the same. And so that's the beautiful part. A school system doesn't really have to choose between diesel or propane in terms of cost. The initial cost is the same. Once they buy the propane buses, though, the operating costs are about half that of a diesel bus. And so you see a major change in the fleet cost for a school system. Same initial price, better operating cost. Now, I would say, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead. No, go
ahead. I was going to say, I think most of your listeners, for me, the only choice for modern student transportation is either in a propane bus or an electric bus. Those are the only modern ways to transport children to school safely. And while both have their features and benefits, the real advantage of a propane bus is that you can buy 4 propane buses for 1 electric bus. That allows you to get rid of 4 times those older, aging, dirty diesel buses. And that's how you really clean up the environment. That's how you make an impact in clean student transportation. Not whether you choose propane or electric, but how fast you get rid of these older, dirty diesel buses.
Where can people go? Where can parents go, teachers go to find out more information about propane-powered buses?
We created a website, betterourbuses.com. It's the place for parents to go to engage in this information, to learn about the questions to ask of the school board, of the PTA, to work with other parents to begin demanding that their school systems give their child a cleaner, healthier, safer ride to school. betterourbuses.com.
That's terrific. Our guest has been Tucker Perkins, President and CEO of the Propane Education and Research Council. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your time. This is Late Night Health. I'm Mark Alyn.